Have you had trouble maintaining your relationships during the pandemic? The lens and neck problem may be one cause. Today we'll hear from Trinity, who is experiencing something very similar. Her friend Claire is going to help with combating the lens neck problem in our relationships during the pandemic.
Hi, Claire.
Trinity, how are you?
I'm okay. I just been struggling a lot in one of my friendships lately.
Oh, I'm sorry. What ways?
Well, you know how masks are required in Michigan during the pandemic? One of my closest friends doesn't follow the guidelines at all, and she doesn't even believe in them. And so it's just been kind of tough on our friendship.
Oh, I'm sorry. How has that affected you?
Well, for instance, we can't hang out in person because she won't follow the guidelines, and I want to follow the guidelines. And she's just really mad at me because we haven't been hanging out in
I'm
person.
sorry. That's really hard. Did you guys talk about it? Did you communicate how you feel?
Well, we had a conversation about it, but to be honest, I don't really feel like she understands where I'm coming from because everyone in her hometown and her family doesn't wear masks and they don't social distance at all. And so it's just really hard for me to feel like she understands me.
That's really tough. Have you heard of the neck or the lens problem by chance?
No, what's that?
Well, the neck problem is when two people look at the same scenario, such as wearing masks, but they interpret it differently because of our lenses. So we all have our own lenses that can be our culture, our race, our education level, our environment, so on and so forth, that makes us all see things differently. The neck problem, on the other hand, is when people look at two different scenarios and interpret things differently just because it's more of a problem of what you pay attention to rather than experiences or lenses. So, I don't know, maybe you and your friend are experiencing something like this.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds to me like you hit it on the head. That sounds exactly like what we're going through, but how do I fix that?
Well, for starters, it's probably best to understand that the real problem isn't the lens or the neck issue, but rather the fact that we fail to ask questions. So, all you need to really do is shift your attention to your friend and try to understand where she's coming from and ask the same from her. So, I feel like understanding where your friend is coming from could help you develop some empathy for her and gain more experiences, which is a way we can almost add lenses and be more open to people.
All of this advice is really helpful, Claire. Thanks a lot for listening.
Absolutely.
Really good to talk to you.
The important thing to remember when it comes to the lens and neck problem is communication, empathy, and common ground. The only way you can manage this problem in your relationships is to add lenses. You can do this by gaining more experiences, but remember that open communication is the first step.